Allow me to correct a mistake I made in my review of Beyblade Burst Evolution. That was the 4th fan request I've ever received, not the 3rd. I forgot about Grave at the Fireflies. Probably on purpose. But having one's numbers straight is important. This is number 5. The genres listed by Kiss Anime were suspicious. The last thing I watched labeled Dementia was Pop Team Epic, or as I like to call it, Pointlessness Incarnate. However, with Serial Experiments Lain, Psychological was listed too. A genre that tears brains apart, and a genre that builds brains up. Then again, I've seen Slice of Life and Adventure paired together, and that was somehow fitting. Unlike Pop Team Epic, I can confirm this has a real plot. Episode 1. A girl named Chisa commits suicide. A week later, all her friends start receiving emails from her, and most people dismiss it as a cruel prank except for Lain. Lain learns Chisa left her body to be one with the internet. The Wired, a version of the internet that can connect to the subconscious. It uses the same theory as Digimon, that the real world and virtual world are more connected than we originally thought, but goes as far as to make a religion out of it, and to fully understand this, Lain is constantly upgrading her computer, to the point I began to wonder where she was getting all her parts. Her room began to look like the lab that made Mewtwo. Its immediate downside is you can tell this was made in 1998 from the artwork, but at least it's not ugly like High Score Girl. It has a talent for sparking curiosity. Sometimes it stops making noise for seconds at a time, making me instinctively focus harder to try and glean information. Its intent is to ask the question, how do you define what's real? And I suppose it does this well. I'm still looking up videos to explain all its complexity to me, and I think this is my personal issue with the series. I can contemplate the nature of the universe when they take me back to my cell, but I came to this wanting a story, which brings me to its hiccups. I found the dialogue illogical on many episodes. On one occasion, Lain tells her mother about the dead girl sending her messages, then it just cuts to the next scene, because that's definitely where that conversation would have ended. On many other occasions, someone would ask a question and the other person would stare back dramatically, when it would make more sense for them to speak up. And soon before I gave up around episode 10, Lain meets an individual who introduces himself as God. His very next sentence is asking Lain how is it possible for her to become God. Conversations don't work like this in any context. The ultimate issue is that it takes more toys out of its toy box than what it actually intends to play with. I had to get after Island for doing the same thing recently. Lain has a bunch of hallucinations, most of them went undeveloped, thus only serving as time killers. In episode 6, some professor is chewed out by Lain over some experiment I have never heard of and never heard about again. A bomb was planted in her room, but this gets quickly forgotten. In fact, I think her room and computer was repaired between episodes. It's surprising her parents didn't say anything, but you'll probably be able to figure out why by episode 9 or so. Also, another girl starts having many hallucinations before being reduced to only being able to mutter to herself, and no one addresses this. Ever. I can give Serial Experiments Lain uniqueness points. I can give it uniqueness points for days, and between that and its depth, I can see why someone might enjoy this if they have an afternoon to kill, but did I have fun? The series is a college course on philosophy combined with getting high, which I guess is what I should have expected with the aforementioned genres. The words that come to mind are immersive, intriguing, and curious, but fun doesn't quite fit. If I put it down to go to the bathroom or something, I find myself with no desire to avoid it or pick it up again. I recommend Chaos Head over it. No, not because it's lewd in places, but I just prefer its way of asking the question of how do we know what's real. It's more versatile, and if I'm being frank, it has a more palatable art style. Serial Experiments Lain. I don't recall any experiments being performed except by that aforementioned professor, and I don't remember anyone eating Captain Crunch. I knew that.